Greetings and welcome to another Tomorrow's World Webcast. My name is Wallace Smith. It's great to have you here. And I have a bit of a scary topic today. Titles and headlines like this shouldn't cause us to panic, but they should cause us to think. It comes from the AFP. It's dateline August 25th, 2015. And the title is U.S. Reports Unusual Spike in Human Plague Cases. Plague, as in the bubonic plague, as in the Black Death from the Middle Ages, the very same disease responsible for that. It actually comes out of Miami, this report, and it says, an unusually high number of cases of human plague have been reported by U.S. health authorities since April. 11 in all, with 3 of them fatal. The CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, said it's unclear why the number of cases in 2015 is higher than usual. Actually, these are 11 cases in just the past 4 months. They point out that from 2001 to 2012, they've generally had 1 to 17 cases over an entire year. And yet just in 4 months, there have been 11 cases. The average over the last decade per year has been just 3. And here we are 4 months, and there's 11. Where does this come from? It's been caused by a bacteria that you find in wild rodents and their fleas. And people get them, you can get them from other people, or you get it from cats and dogs and animals that might have these fleas, etc. Anyway, it's really pretty spooky stuff. You know, when the Black Plague was ravaging Europe, 60% of the population died. Numbers like that stagger the mind today. 60% of the continent dead from Black Death and the plague. Absolutely terrifying. Now here, this is only 11 cases in 4 months, and it shouldn't panic us, but a few things do come to mind. The first thing is the Bible says, a prudent man foresees evil and hides himself. You know, there's nothing wrong, panicking aside, there's nothing wrong with listening to news like this and then having it spur us to be more mindful about our sanitary habits. You know, it's interesting, if you look at the Bible actually provided a lot of guidelines, and still does, that would have actually halted the Black Plague. It talks about different requirements of sanitation. It talks about what God expects you to do with your human waste. And when you look at the Middle Ages and look at society at that time, a lot of God's commands in those regards were completely ignored. And yet in smaller communities that followed those commands, you saw the Black Plague did not have the same kind of effect. God knows what He's doing. He designed all things. And so we should be smart. You know, wash our hands after we use the bathroom, things like that. The prudent man foresees evil, the Bible says, and hides himself. There's nothing wrong with being wise. The second thing that comes to mind is what's old is new again. You know, the bubonic plague seems like ancient history, and it is a part of ancient history. But you know what? It's not just ancient history, it's a part of today's world as well. As many as of the diseases that existed in the past and we hear great stories about, I don't mean great as in good, I mean large stories about, in terms of the lives that were lost, those still exist in various forms in our world, and this is sort of a blast from the past. In fact, if you're keeping up in the news, there are many diseases that a lot of us don't think of anymore because we believe we've conquered them, that not only still exist, but they've actually grown resistant to current medicines, such as MRSA, MRSA, which bacteria that is just resisting all of our strongest medicines, very hard to stop. A lot of diseases that we had under control are adapting and growing, and it's actually quite a spooky circumstance if you're keeping an eye on the news, and not everybody does. The third point I do want to make is that titles like this, headlines like this, shouldn't surprise us. In prophecy, the Bible talks about 4 horsemen on their ride, the famous 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in the book of Revelation. And each of those horsemen symbolize a certain difficulty humanity has to face, some man-made, others, it's all bad stuff. And the 4th of those horsemen is pestilence and disease. And the Bible indicates that those four horsemen, their ride comes to a climax in the end days, in the years just ahead of us. And so we absolutely should expect a growing climax of reports concerning pestilence and concerning disease. The Bible says those things are coming. If you're interested, actually, to learn more, just go to our website at tomorrowsworld.org and go to the search box and just type in 4 horsemen. I actually did that myself, and the top 3 listings were 3 television programs on that very topic. So when it comes to headlines like this, we don't have to panic, but we should think, and we should pray. I hope this has been a beneficial webcast, and I hope you'll watch our continuing webcast series, as well as check us out on tomorrowsworld.org.